Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to my chaos. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate everybody that stops by and watches my videos. So today, I just want to give a little bit of a chat, recapping how Q1 went. Now, to explain, I've decided to set my goals based on quarters throughout the year. That gives me 3 months at a time to work on whatever goals I'm working on. Usually it's nutrition-based, fitness-based, and then occasionally just other general healthy habits for physical, emotional, mental well-being. Q1 is January through March, Q2 is April through June, Q3 is July through through September, and Q4 is October through December. And I figure that gives me, by taking 3 months at a time, especially when it comes to habit building, it gives me plenty of time working on building that habit. Because what is the saying? I think the saying is it takes 3 weeks to start building a habit. I've read things that say it takes 60 days to build a habit. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up right at the moment. I'm not going to be super specific at the moment. Just in general, I feel like it doesn't hurt to take a few months to work on building a habit. And with my workouts, 3 months of doing the same exercises each week is good to work those muscles, continually work on building strength continually without changing it up a whole lot beyond, like, I'll do push on one day and pull on another day and legs on another day and whatever. Beyond that, I'm not changing it up too much. I'm not constantly switching things around and going for confusion or whatever it is. So Q1 is pretty much done, and I want to just give a little recap about how it went. I did post on Friday a video giving a glimpse at what is coming for Q2 and for my goals or focus, I guess, for Q2. So if you want to watch that, that's already up on my channel. Otherwise, let's get into the little recap. So Q1, I wanted to focus on building a foundation that can lead me to success for the rest of the year and beyond. My hope for the year is to hit my goal weight and transition into maintenance. And so before I get to that point, I want to have a solid routine that involves meal planning, meal prepping, and a fitness routine that has me consistently moving and consistently improving my mental health, my emotional health, and my physical health. Physically, yes, I still have some weight that I want to lose, but once I reach maintenance and reach that goal weight range that I want to be in, I want to focus on continuing to build muscle and continuing to keep my body active. And so for Q1, I wanted to start slow, and it was a 3-day-a-week routine, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I shifted as needed. I wanted to do strength training, and Monday and Friday, I wanted to go on a run. The running, I did not do great at. I did it for maybe half of Q1, but I started something at least, and for the most part, I was fairly consistent, and it's just something that I'm going to be able to work on from here. And Q2, I'm going to hone in a little bit more on all of that. But I wanted to lay the foundation that is going to allow me to build on from here on out. And I would like to think that I've done that fairly well. I wasn't perfect, but it gave me a solid feel for, what it's going to be like moving myself and getting in some kind of exercise at least 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 times a week. And I got a lot better at my meal planning, and I even started meal prepping some. I'm not perfect at that. Part of it is with our refrigerator. I don't often have a ton of room for a lot of extra containers and stuff, or our freezer either. So that limits me on how much I can meal prep at a time, but I've started, and that was the whole hope for Q1, was to start and give me a platform, a framework to build on. And Q2 is going to be, even more focused on building those habits and continuing to do better and get myself to the point that whether in Q2, Q3, or even Q4, if I hit maintenance, I have been working since the beginning of the year on solidly building that routine, that I can transition my focus off of weight loss and transition my focus to continuing to improve my physical health, build up my endurance, build muscles, and find something that I really enjoy, whether that's focusing mostly on strength training, because I do acknowledge that cardio has benefits, and so it's important to still include cardio. But do I want to just focus on strength training with the little bits of cardio, or do I want to improve running and start training for races and stuff like that? That's currently my thought. I don't know though if that's what I'm going to work towards, but as I'm transitioning into maintenance and away from focusing so much on losing weight, I'm going to be able to, I guess, share some of that brain power with some of the other things that I've been working on, and put more time and effort into whatever other things I want to accomplish, because I'll have accomplished something major by getting to whatever my goal weight is. You know, wherever I feel comfortable stopping losing weight, that will, I mean, honestly, it's already something major. It's already something that really just blows my mind some days when I think about the numbers that are included in what I've done in the last year and a half or so. And then the last 3 months have given me a solid start at building what is going to become a routine, hopefully long term, because I would love to be that active mom that I'm constantly working out and I'm taking care of myself and I'm able to keep up and go to practice with the boys and, you know, help them train as they get into sports or whatever they wind up doing, or even just for myself, get into something and like really dive into and have like a passion for something physical, because it's something I've dreamed of and just never really got into. So it's time for me to maybe dive into something like that, or join an adult sports league. I don't know what is going to happen, but I'm finally at a point where I can actually see those dreams as possibly becoming reality. And the framework that I've started laying in Q1 is setting me up for that success, and building this routine is really going to go a long way to help me. And I'm excited to see what comes from this and what more I can build on. But I'd say overall, considering Q1, I wanted to focus mostly on that routine building. I'd say overall, Q1 was a success. I do want to touch briefly on, in the next video clip, on my actual results, numbers and stuff like that, and a little bit more on what I achieved with my strength training. I don't think I'm going to go too far into detail on all of that. I just wanted to share some numbers and share a little bit more specific details. But here, I just wanted to kind of give my personal thought on how Q1 went and where I'm going from here, I guess. I don't know. On to the next thing. Okay, this is just going to be a really quick part, talking about my fitness and the changes physically that I've seen since over Q1. Fitness wise, there were a few times that I had to adjust the exercises I was doing, the specific moves. One or two I had to stop doing and like alternate, because I was having mainly knee pain. I think one of them was like lunges, and there was something else that I changed just because my body was not happy with me doing those exercises. So I changed those up. And then there's definitely, I definitely struggled to be 100% doing the exercises every single day. Between the boys being off school when they were supposed to be in school, and just mental health days, and it's that time of year where everybody gets sick too. So as you can hear, sometimes things get shuffled around and workouts don't get done as planned, and that it happens. But for the most part, I stayed relatively on track with a little bit of shuffling here and there. And almost every single exercise, I either increased reps or increased weight or both. And that felt really good. In terms for physical changes, I will put up here, as you can see. Obviously, I'm not going to choose super revealing pictures to put up on the internet, but you can definitely see some changes. And honestly,
I feel like you can't see all of the changes that I'm seeing. Part of that is my loose skin gets in the way. Like, I know I can feel that I have more definition in my arms, but I have so much loose skin here that even when I flex, the loose skin is still going to be droopy and it's still going to be impacting things. And that's just how it is for the moment. But I also did my measurements. I use this little tool, pull that out. And so for places like my arms or my legs where there is loose skin, when I do the measurements, I just I press the button and let it pull into wherever it stops. And sometimes that means it cinches in the skin a little bit. It does that on my stomach a little bit too. And I feel like that's a fairly accurate measurement of like what those measurements actually are. I just can't get a good picture of them. And so here are my measurement changes, my weight, and each of the measurements I take, I forget exactly how many measurements I take, but basically from the neck, chest, hips, waist, all of those, the changes that between the January 1st measurements and then today, April 1st measurements, that is the change and the change on the scale. And you know, I've had months where I've lost more than that, and I've had months where I've lost less. So my weight loss is fairly consistent. It has been more or less for the most part since I started. So I'm happy with the numbers. And honestly, like, I'm really happy with the measurement changes. I didn't feel like I was making a ton of progress, but to see the measurements, it kind of really sunk in that, like, hey, it was a fairly solid 3 months, fairly solid quarter. So I'm happy with the results. And, you know, here's another picture just to show. It's covered by my jersey, but it's actually this jersey here. I've been using this jersey since the very beginning because that jersey is a size large, and at the time it did not fit. Actually, here, I'll put in my very first picture with that jersey, my starting picture with that jersey. You can see definitely have come a long way, and it's so weird to me now looking at getting new jerseys and realizing that like a large is actually kind of big on me, and so I might actually be able to fit a medium and have a medium be a fitted style. And you know, that's just weird to me, but I'm happy with my progress. I've seen a lot of change. I've felt a lot of change, and it's been great. And I'm definitely changing things up a little bit for Q2 fitness. I'm actually not going to be starting my Q2 fitness routine until next week because I am going to be traveling this week. And as you can hear, I am dealing with something. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's just my sinuses. I don't know, but I'm still dealing with something and it's causing some issues. So we're not going to be pushing myself too much physically. And then I actually fly out Thursday super early in the morning to go to Minnesota for my brother's wedding. And so I will be out of town for a little while, and I'm just going to do walking, which not that that's not anything. It's just, I'm not diving into Q2 fitness just yet. So I will share when I do start, I guess. But for right now, fitness in Q1 was a success. I did some solid changes and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's all.
So I definitely want to say that overall, Q1 has been a great start to the year. While I may not have accomplished everything, I definitely think that I'm setting myself up for success, and I'm really excited and hopeful, and honestly, often I would say flabbergasted at who I am, who I'm becoming, you know, all the things that I'm doing that I never thought I could do because of my size or whatever. And the fact that I'm putting my mind to it, I'm actually sticking to it. And this time I'm actually succeeding. I'm seeing the lowest numbers on the scale that I've ever seen that I can remember. I mean, I'm sure at some point in my childhood I weighed as much as I do now, but as far as I can remember, I don't remember ever seeing a number this low. And every time I step on the scale and see a new low, it's just the same feeling over and over again. And seeing my body in the mirror, it's like a brand new feeling every time, and it's just weird, but it's exciting. And I honestly just can't wait to see what comes from this and what happens next. And I'm really weirdly excited about seeing muscle definition pop through and, developing that physique, I guess. I don't know. Something that I never thought I would have, but there's just something that, I just like the idea of having muscle definition in different places. I mean, obviously I don't want abs. I'm not going to an extreme. I don't want anything chaotic. I just like the idea of having some definition here and there, but I'm actually able to see these dreams as potential reality versus before it would be like, oh, it would be nice, but to actually think that someday that might actually be me, it's a really good feeling, and I can't wait. And I'm happy to share and bring you along, share what's working. And like I said earlier, I think I do have plans for discussing past attempts at losing weight and why it didn't work and what I learned from that, and why I'm making certain decisions now because of past attempts and things that I've learned and stuff like that. There's probably gonna be multiple videos along those lines, because I do want to share information, because I found something that works for me and maybe it'll help someone else. And that's why I want to create these videos and not just sharing chaotic mom life. So yeah, that's it for Q1. Excited to start Q2, and we'll see what happens.